The future of Amazon. CEO Jeff Bezos and his wife Mackenzie announcing yesterday that they're divorcing after 25 years of marriage. The split could have major implications for Amazon. Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world with a net worth of around $137 billion. The Wall Street Journal says that if Mackenzie ends up with a portion of her husband's stake in Amazon, it's 16.3%. At most recent count, that could have an impact on the company. Joining me now, Fox News legal analyst, defense attorney Mercedes Colwin, and Wall Street Journal technology reporter Tim Higgins. Tim, you're at the CES convention in Las Vegas. Amazon getting a lot of attention. What do investors need to know? Why is this a business story? Explain it.
Well, it's important to investors because if he's got to get rid of some of those shares, it could change some of the control of the company. If his ex-wife, his soon-to-be ex-wife, has some other views that could have influenced the board. And we've seen in past divorces from high-ranking CEOs or other executives, these things can get messy. Information can come out in the proceedings. It's embarrassing to the company. It just becomes a distraction.
And I want to point out, since you are in Las Vegas, Elaine Wynn's divorce from Wynn Resorts founder Steve Wynn, it was about eight years ago. That actually did result in her putting, based on the ownership stake that she wound up with, trying to force some changes on Wynn Resorts.
Yeah, that's a good example. In the family that owned the Dodgers baseball team ended up selling. That's another example. These things can have ramifications, and it's really, at this point, unknown what the nuptial arrangements between the Bezos are, and so we'll be looking for that very closely.
Mercedes, I want you to weigh in on this. So they announced in this, as James pointed out, it seems like an amicable statement. TMZ is reporting this morning that Jeff and Mackenzie Bezos did not have a prenuptial agreement. So prenup, postnup, it's not unusual to basically put together a deal even after you're married as a fortune builds. But how does this play out? What should we be paying attention to? Because it looks like everything's hunky-dory, despite reports that Jeff Bezos already has a girlfriend, that he's dating a former TV anchor, Lauren Sanchez, who lives out in Los Angeles.
That's the flying the ointment, the other woman. So you're already starting to see that mucking up the water. So where's the venue? Where is it going to be? Many individuals say it's going to be in Washington State, which is a community property state, which means it's right down the middle. I mean, he started Amazon during their marriage. Dollar for dollar, it was amassed during that marriage. Right down the middle, 50% generally would go to the spouse, to both splitting between the spouses, 100%. So we've got the control of the company, we've got the flying the ointment, which is the other woman. That'll muck it up. And what we started talking about this before the start of the segment, is like, it looks so nice and pleasant, and they have this wonderful statement out there. Standard operating procedure.
They're going to keep collaborating.
Yes, standard operating procedure. Make it nice and lovely, but then put your boxing gloves on, because we're going to duke it out. We're going to duke it out for a lot of money. We're going to duke it out for child support and all that.
In September, the couple announced that they were forming the Day One Fund, which was named after Amazon's startup mode mantra, with an initial endowment of $2 billion to fund early childhood education. They celebrated their 25th wedding anniversary, so there was a lot going on with them as a couple. And then this revelation. And I'm going to put you on the spot, because it does look like that the Bezoses were forced to announce this because there was an investigation that it was going to come out, the National Enquirer looking into it. It was going to come out that he was dating this other woman. And so it does raise the issue of what is the company, what is he required to disclose if it has a material impact on the share price and on the ownership stake?
That's such a great point. I mean, frankly, anything that he comes out with a statement that can impact the shares of stock and the value of it can result in a shareholder derivative suit. Because and we saw that with Martha Stewart when she came forward and she professed her innocence, and then suddenly she was charged with stock fraud and whatnot, and that was dismissed.
Well, she was only charged with criminally. She was convicted of obstruction of justice and lying to investigators. So she was never criminally charged with insider trading. Civilly, yes, but criminally, no. So that's a separate story.
So, but that's so important. So when you have a CEO that has this type of controversy and he makes a statement, whether he professes his innocence and says, I never had this dating relationship, it was during the time that we were separated, however it comes out, if it's opposed or it's and there's opposing evidence saying that's not true, and that can impact the value of the stock, we have some issues for him.
Tim, I understand we're speculating at this point, but I'm wondering, as you look at Mackenzie Bezos' business background, is there reason to think that she might want to play a role as an active investor in this company, as an active manager, perhaps?
Well, if you look at the founding of the company, she's definitely there in the early days. Remember when he was moving from the East Coast towards the West Coast, as they were driving, she drove the car as he was writing the business plan for the company that would ultimately be known as Amazon. So she's been there from the early days, focused later in life on her writing, her books. A little unclear exactly what role she might have in this kind of new world for her.
She went to Princeton, which I think is Jeff Bezos' alma mater. She met him at the hedge fund where he was working before the Amazon founding here in New York City, D.E. Shaw, and she did actually work at the company after he founded it. She worked in accounting at Amazon. When
I'm reading some anecdotal evidence now that she was involved in the IPO roadshow. Mm-hmm. She was there. Investors remember meeting her. She was involved. I guess my question is, does she have any reason to scorch the earth here? I mean, obviously there's a lot of emotion involved. From a business standpoint, what is she going to look to do?
Well, I mean, certainly there's going to be a huge payout, number one. However, but there are 4 children in the mix. Yeah. So there has to be a level of sensitivity towards those children. So you start to see, even though it can get really nasty and very aggressive, at the end of the day, the spouses have to come together and say, look, we've got to do this for the sake of the children.
Tim, we're going to, real quick, I'll give you a few seconds to say some final words before we go.
Yeah, well, this comes at a time where Amazon was looking like the more stable of the tech companies. You saw Apple just kind of falling off the cliff with their concerns about the quarter, and Amazon was kind of the darling here in the tech world, especially here at CES, where their name is everywhere as they're pushing their voice assistant, Alexa. Mm-hmm.
Thumbs up for you being here so early for us. Great insight as always, Tim Higgins. But I'm going to go back to Mercedes really quickly. So on this note, there's so much at stake. Sure. There are 5 properties. He's one of the largest. Jeff Bezos and family are one of the largest landowners in the United States. 5 estates, 400 acres, $137 billion. It seems almost unimaginable that he wouldn't have a prenup or a postnup in place, because he had money when they got married. Right. And certainly a lot more money, being the richest man in the country at the moment.
Excellent point. But frankly, there isn't any evidence of it. And even if there is a postnup, all of that could be challenged in court. They say, undue duress, whatnot. I was forced to do this. There's so many challenges to those prenuptial and postnuptial agreements. Many of them fall to the wayside, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm just worried about the dilution of shares, because you need to dilute or you need to sell off shares in order to pay any settlements in the future. But they seem to be, partners in the future, friends forever. Right. We'll see how long that lasts.
With the report of, I think we should say this, with the report of the girlfriend out there and the situation, you just never know what was going on with the marital relationship. Exactly. You just don't know the story. You don't know who knew what and when, and it will come out in the wash in the coming weeks.
Especially with the media interest, so you know that there has to be evidence out there in the event that he comes forward and says, I'm totally innocent of whatever I'm being alleged against, and it could not be so.
Right. Well said, Mercedes. Mercedes Colwin, and a thank you to Tim Higgins as well.